Hey, this is Charlie with Aloha Earth Medicine, and I am here with Heidi from Healing Her podcast. And we are actually going to do a Chinese medicine health consultation today because Heidi has had some issues going on lately, and we have decided to bring it to the interwebs. So, Heidi, cheers.
Cheers, Charlie.
Happy to see you.
Cheers, Doc,
Let's do it.
my naturopathic doc,
One of them, yeah.
my healer, the healing team, right? You taught me about that.
That's right. It's all about the healing team.
Yeah.
All right. So, Heidi, what is bringing you to consultation today?
So I recently got involved. I involved myself in a trend
Okay.
of like trying to do some things to my face through retinoids, and I had a terrible reaction to a retinoid called Differin gel,
Okay.
called adapalene or something like that.
Mhm.
And you can still kind of see that I'm a lot better, I think,
Yeah.
because Charlie has been helping me. Uh, and what I'm understanding is that my liver needs some extra love and support.
Well, that's our assumption, but we're gonna go through the whole process to figure that out. So
Okay.
before we get started here, I'm gonna see if I can share my screen because I want to show the picture of what you actually looked like.
When I was like, Charlie,
Is that okay if I share it?
yes.
Okay. So Heidi got in touch with me this day. Look at, you can see how her face is just blown up. Her eyes are blown up. So that was the first thing that cued me in is so you can see that she's red and she's got this puffiness around her eyes, poor dear. And in Chinese medicine, we look at the eyes as the liver. So my first thing is like, wow, your liver is not happy, which is pretty common in any kind of allergic reaction, is we look at the liver. And also, you have some redness here, and I know you also explained that you had some redness here. And describe to me if it itched or hurt or anything like that.
I mean, the primary, though that looks enormously painful, the primary symptom that I had next to the swelling was it was itchy.
Itching. Yeah, so itching. And this is, I believe, the next day after you had just started taking some homeopathics that your homeopath recommended, which was Natmir, was it?
Natmur. I did start with Apis,
Okay,
and then I went
Apis.
to Natmur because that was covering also some of the grief, the reaction to like a chemical, a
Right.
chemical product. It covers that.
Okay, good. Well, you can see even from the first day, really angry, ready, puffy. That puffiness is really, I don't love that because that's like almost, you got to be careful with that kind of thing because you can actually create an infection because there's so much sort of pus that happens in there. So you did really good. I didn't want to mention that to you because I didn't want you to freak out, but handled the wrong way, that can turn into a little infection. So you did great.
It's interesting that you bring that up because one of the things that came up in this was my mother had something similar to this a long time ago, and I look very similar to how my mother did, and they did treat her as having an infection, right?
Right.
It was called do you know the term? Uh the I can't think of the term, but anyway, I infection was on my mind. I thought I did think about going to the doctor, but I prefer to avoid them at all costs.
Right. Yes. Well, it's good to have a doctor in your back pocket, but we don't want to run towards antibiotics or steroids, particularly as a person who uses homeopathy. You understand that it's suppressive. So it's gonna basically, if Heidi had put steroids or antibiotics on her body, it probably would have taken care of the problem immediately. But what it does is it suppresses and pushes in to the body, pushes deeper into the body what's trying to express, right? So anything that's actually coming out of your body is something trying to express, which is a healing reaction. And you don't want to suppress that if you don't have to, right? Obviously, in an emergency situation, you do, but if you don't have to, you don't want to. So good job, buddy. So Heidi took Natmir. That's the first day. And apis is actually bee sting. So it's bee sting remedy, which many people that react to bee stings end up with some kind of thing like this. Also, I was not treating her with homeopathy, but another thought that I had was roost tox, which is poison ivy, which is another one that can give a puffy, itchy reaction. This is the next day because you can see a lot of the redness has gone down and some of the puffiness. So she's still not a happy camper. But still, we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction. And then what I said is, can you please send me Chinese medicine? And I believe this is the day after. So this is day 3. And this is obviously you can look at the eyes. Some of this puffiness has gone down here, which is awesome. It still looks uncomfortable, but it doesn't look scary, right? And then I said, can you please send me your tongue? So you sent me your tongue. And what I notice here from Chinese medicine is a couple things. I'm looking at the whiteness on your tongue, which is a dampness, which makes sense because all that puff is damp, right? And this is not, I've seen your tongue in the past. This is not your normal tongue. So there's definitely some dampness going on in your body. And just a little bit of cracks in the middle, which is stomach heat. That really, right in the center there, that's a little bit of stomach heat. And then on the edges, there's just a little bit of what I would call like liver qi stagnation. So you see that on the edges, it's kind of like withered a little bit. That's the liver. So other than that, everything looks real healthy, and we can come back to us. Hi. Okay, so thank you for letting me share those photos. That's rad. And now, okay, so other than the allergic reaction, which is moving forward, and what remedy are you taking right now?
I am so in I would along with that, I did have a bit of a sore throat that was at the start
Okay.
of this.
Yep.
It got way worse, and I think what I imagined was as it was kind of moving out, I guess.
Okay.
It was moving down.
Yep.
I think it's, like it's kind of making its way out. I had terrible throat pain. So in addition to the Nat Muir, I got on Bryonia.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Which,
So go ahead.
And that took care of the pain. No more throat pain is gone. I took, I think 4 or 5 doses.
Okay. Good. So Nat Muir brought down the rash, reduced the swelling and redness, right? And how about the itch?
Very mild now. My skin is incredibly dry at the moment.
Yeah,
so
that's okay. Sure.
it's still a little itchy. And I would also say that you advised tea and charcoal. So
Mint tea, right?
those were major components, and dry brushing. Those were major components, I think, in sweeping out the toxins or the chemical reaction that I was having.
Yeah. Okay, so that's right. What I recommended was mint tea, which is cooling. Also chrysanthemum to put. Did you put it topically or just
So I also followed that advice, the chrysanthemum tea.
Yeah.
My dear son was able to pick it up at a local co-op.
Cool.
So I did a compress of chrysanthemum tea, but I think at that point my skin was so agitated that it was, I don't know that it may have helped, but it was like, woo. So then I drank some of the tea, which was woo, very bitter. I haven't had another cup yet. You suggested adding some honey to it, which I will do. And I have herbs that I'm picking up today under your suggestion.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, so chrysanthemum is known to work with the eyes, any kind of issues with the eyes. So it's great to make it into a compress, put it on the eyes, cold or hot, depending on what the needs are. But drinking it also super beneficial, clears liver heat. So it's everything you're working on. And we can even talk about whether you need the herbs, because honestly, you look pretty good. Do you want to take your glasses off for a second? And I'm gonna pin you for a second. So okay, so there's still some redness, some puffiness. It's a little hard to see to the light, but honestly, you look pretty good, Heidi. It's not screaming at me in the way. What is it? Where's it at for you?
Where is it screaming?
Yep. Yeah, so down there around the neck. Okay.
So it's like it's particular. I'm very sensitive to heat right now, and it's really hot here. I'm in San Diego. It's
Right.
hot, it's humid. And the moment I'm like outside for anything, or in a warmer room, this gets even a shower. So when I shower, even if it's cool, though it's cooler, I mean, I don't shower in cold water, but when it's cool, even the moisture,
Okay. Great.
moisture, right? Dampness.
Yeah. So what, this is great. Go ahead. What happens with the moisture? Sorry, I was thinking about something
My God,
else.
it makes me go wild. Like
So it makes it worse.
it actually,
Go ahead.
it makes me furious.
Ooh, this is good. Why?
It makes me, because it's like that to me. It's suffocating. It's suffocating me.
So water from the shower,
Well, like like moistness,
moisture. Yeah.
the moisture, and then like I can't get it dry enough.
Yeah.
And then when I do find like I'm able to, I guess, quiet it down,
Yeah.
I've done this to myself
Okay.
because I've been at it, right? Like I've been,
Oh dear.
yeah, and I don't like being out in the humidity either. That
Because it's
makes
humid
me,
right now.
it is humid right now. It just makes me, I feel angry in it.
We
I
got to work
do.
on that. So Chinese medicine, we're looking at the liver because basically liver damp heat. So what she's describing is liver damp heat. And the reason being is the liver is the skin is the second organ of the lung, actually, but the liver detoxes through the skin. Anything around the eyes is related to the liver. Angry red rashes are often related to the liver, and anger is the emotion for the liver.
Ah,
So you're looking at liver damp heat. So that's actually good to know because we might actually change your formula. The formula I
oh,
gave
good.
you does work with a little bit of dampness, but not more. I mean, basically, yeah, we just might change some of the herbs
Well, that would be great because after we're done, I'm actually headed over to the Chinese pharmacy.
to pick it up.
Yeah, so if you do have something else in mind.
Yep. So what we talked about with Heidi the other day, let me see if I can share the screen on it, is Xiao Chai Hutong, which is your basic liver formula. So in Xiao Chai Hutong, it's basically a liver harmonizer. So it clears a little bit of heat, brings a little bit of, so the liver in Chinese medicine, the liver, which your liver's here on your right side, you can actually, Heidi, this would be good for you to like actually palpate under your liver. So that's what I'm doing here. So in Chinese med, if I was with Heidi, I'd go like this right under her rib cage, and I'd feel if it was full to me, and I'd ask her if it was tender when I was pressing in there. So Heidi, what happens when you press underneath your rib cage? Does it feel full or does it feel soft? Does it feel hard?
Oh, it's definitely tender.
So it's tender, yeah.
Slightly, slightly hard.
Okay. But it definitely is tender to you. That's important too.
Yeah.
Okay. So we palpate that area. That is, the area. So, your right side of your body is your liver and your left side is your spleen. But underneath this rib cage here is all kind of ruled by what we call the Shaoyang, which is the liver gallbladder, triple warmer. And it's very much about how the liver overacts on the spleen in Chinese medicine, or the liver overacts on the stomach. So people who often have burping or acid reflux, that's often liver, overacting on the stomach, creating heat, and things are going up. So the stomach should always go down, right? You
Uh,
digest, you go down.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when this is all too full, too much stagnation here in that liver, nothing's harmonized, right? So the Xiao Chai Hutong actually brings the stomach energy down, calms the liver, says, yo, liver, chill, do your job. Don't you worry about everyone else because it's overacting on the spleen, and the spleen's going, shit, liver's too much. Ah. And then that's burping and belching and heat and all that. So what that formula, it's a very general basic formula. It's really safe. That's why I felt comfortable over the phone, looking at your stuff, talking your tongue, saying, hey, this is a pretty, apparently 5 years ago it was the most prescribed formula in Japan. You know what I mean? It's like everyone takes Xiaochaigutong. So
Wow.
yeah, and there's different constitutional types, right? So that's more of a Xiaoyang constitution, but it's the constitutional type is also affected by the world. And we're in a very Xiaoyang is like half in, half out, right? So we're in that's the kind of world we're in now. We're all generally healthy, but we all have like weird stuff like allergies and all this. And that's just sort of where we're at. So that formula is often used. But today we might actually look at just adding a couple herbs or just changing it up because you are actually having more damp heat. However, we don't want to interfere with what's already going very well, which is your homeopathic, your dietary change, and your supplementation. All right. So in that, is there anything else? Because you and I had talked about a cough not long ago. So what any other health concerns you want to look at today?
No, and strangely, wildly enough, the cough is not present at the moment.
Stop it.
It hasn't been present since I started. I actually had started another remedy. I can't think of the name of it right now. I had God, this is so embarrassing to say, but it happens. I
Yeah.
had like this little wart growing on the side of my nose.
Okay.
So I started a remedy that's for warts. It's called I don't know, but you can put it in the notes. I'll send you the name of it.
Okay.
And the cough has been gone since. And it's not present at the present time.
Cool. And so this is with your homeopath that you're working with, and that was right on the side of your left nostril. Oh yeah, I can see it. So that's yeah, right at the side of the nostril. Okay, so again, Chinese
Yeah,
medicine, we're
the
looking at like
sulfur.
what channel does that go through? And that's right at the large intestine channel ends right here. So I'm going to call that large intestine, and the nose is always related to the lung. So that's very metal. So I'm going to say large intestine, lung. I'm just making notes here. And when did you start the remedy for that?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm going to say 2 weeks just for time. So you were working with your homeopath and you started a remedy for the wart. Was it Thuya?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, that's often prescribed for warts. Okay, so she gave you Thuya and your cough has gone away. Or you haven't noticed your cough.
I have not. It's not. It, and I do notice it because a lot of times when you and I are messaging, it's funny because I'll have a little cough. I'm like, there's the cough, but it hasn't been present.
That's great.
I
Cool.
know.
Well, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what Thuya works on in terms of the organ systems. Dude, I think Thuya cedar. So anyway, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so you haven't noticed cough sense, so we'll put that on the back burner because you have a very clear. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, is there anything else you want to look at today?
No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Let me bold this. Bold. I'm putting second complaint cough, but we're back burnering it. This is the notes. I'm going to see if I can share this screen in a minute, actually. Yeah, let me share this screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, here we are. This is your Chinese medicine repertoire,
Ooh.
health consultation. All right, so now I'm going to do, this is what we do in Chinese medicine. We're looking at all of the body systems. And so I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. So Heidi, do you have any headaches? Have you had any headaches? No. Great. Have you noticed anything with your eyes? I'm going to say red rash. Anything with your actual vision?
No, not particularly.
What about your ears?
Not really.
What do you mean, not really?
Uh, they've been a little like, uh, maybe damp. Like I'm definitely drawn to, clean them out.
So a
So
little itchy, maybe?
little itchy, little moisture.
Okay, great. What about your nose?
Uh, fine. Like in terms of breathing or yeah, no,
Any of
nothing's going
it?
on. That's really
Okay. And then you do have that little wart. Has the wart changed since the remedy? Has the wart changed since the remedy?
so. I'm not currently taking the Thuja
Yeah.
because am I freezing?
Nope.
I'm not currently taking the Thuja because I'm on the Natmure and the Bryonia.
Great.
So I've stopped the Thuja.
Okay. No problem.
Mouth is it like it's definitely dry, little itchy.
Okay. Dry and itchy. And actually, while we're at it, I'm going to put tongue. It was really damp. And I'm going to say liver qi stagnation, but can I get a little view of your tongue today? Do you mind? Great. Oh yeah. So this is more of your tongue. Yeah. So see, it's a little less damp. That's great. It's still damp, but it's a little less damp. You got that crack in the middle of the stomach and a little, I'd say it's in slight ways a little puffier. So a little bit of a red tip. That's a little more of what I'm used to with your tongue. So it's a little less damp, in other words. That's good. Okay. And then what about your throat?
The pain is gone, so
Okay.
throat is good.
And it was pretty intense pain, right? If I remember
It
correctly.
was very intense. Like when you brush your teeth and you spit, like
Yeah.
I had trouble being able to spit. It was so sore,
Great.
so sore.
Okay. But I'm glad that's gone. All gone.
That's gone. That is
Great.
gone.
Okay. Anything else going on with your throat right now?
La, no.
La,
La 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 la.
la, 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 la. All right. What about your chest? You feel anything in your chest?
Like my breast area.
No, just your chest.
So I mean, I don't know. Is this neck or is
That's
this
neck.
collar? Well, I definitely have. So this is here.
Yep.
The redness is a bit itchy. I've been using a little bit of a like CeraVe cream, which seems pretty benign for me. Sometimes a little bit of coconut oil, but here it is, a little itchy.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's, the collar, we're looking at lymph. So that's, a big lymph drainer. So I know you're doing dry brushing, which is awesome. But yeah,
Yes.
we want to work with your lymph on that. Okay, so but you're not getting any chest pain, difficulty breathing. Okay. And then what about palpitations?
Like my heart or something?
Yep.
Nope, nothing.
Okay. Do you have any anxiety?
Oh, I had some. Definitely had some.
Okay.
According to my homeopath, the Nat Muir covers that.
Okay. Well, and what I'm more importantly, it's gone, so you don't have it now.
Yeah, it's gone.
Great. How's your sleep?
Great.
Great. How's your digestion?
Very good.
Any bloating?
No,
How's the bowel movements?
good.
Normal, daily formed, loose?
Mhm. Normal, daily formed.
Daily formed. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. Urination, peeing as much as you drink.
A lot. Yeah. I've been drinking a ton and peeing a ton.
Okay. How
I
about at
think
night?
the mint tea is very helpful with that, I have to say. I noticed the mint tea is really like
Almost making you
causing,
pee.
yeah.
Okay. Are you peeing at night?
Sometimes, once I am. Yes, once at night.
Okay. Once is not too bad. Is it waking you up though, or you just kind of wake up and you pee?
I wake up, I pee and go back to sleep.
Okay, so it's not a problem. Do you know what time?
It's around the 3 o'clock mark.
Okay. Which is, liver time is 1 to 3, lung time is 3 to 5, so it's right at the in between the liver and the lung.
Well, I'm also born on a cusp, so
We got to get you in for treatment over
it's,
here. You might have a liver lung block.
I know. I need to come see you.
I might come see you. I'll let you know.
Well, it's got to be one or the other very soon.
I might be down there. Temperature, what do you feel like you run normal, hotter or colder?
Hot.
All the time?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I tend to run on the hotter side,
Mm-hmm.
particular like, and I'm just more susceptible to heat at this time because it is extra hot and it is humid.
Okay. Yeah, so you're not liking the humid heat, and that's cool because that's some liver damp heat. Um, is that normal for you though? Like, do you like if we go back to March, do you run hot in March? Or is it more this
I
time of
I've through my life
year?
typically run hot.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in that, do you sweat at night?
I used to sweat more. I'm finding actually like I do sweat a bit here.
Right
That's
there.
happening present.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you post period or period person?
I'm I'm in like the whirlwind of it. So I'm still on my period
Mm-hmm.
and it's changing a lot.
Okay. What's it like now? Can you talk to us about your cycle?
Changing in terms of like frequency, changing in
Okay.
terms of flow, heaviness, timing. Yeah, it's like I had 2 periods this month, but it was very mild ones, but nonetheless, I had 2 cycles.
Okay.
I feel like I make this joke with my other friend who's
Yeah.
perimenopausal. Like, I feel like the eggs like have little walkers and they're like kicking their way down the tube. They're like, "Come on, Ethel, we're the last ones," and they're like, knocking the insides of me with their little cane because I can feel the ovulation. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is like, come on, how many more are in there? Can't be
Right.
many.
Right. That's awesome. And then Alice is like, well, maybe we should hang around then. Maybe we shouldn't
Nice.
leave.
Oh, where do you? They're hanging on.
They're hanging on.
Yeah.
Maybe you should give it one last go.
No, the shop is closed.
Oh, the shop is closed. Okay.
The shop is closed.
Okay. All right. So they're mild. So no pain. Like, give me the last 3 months. Like, what have the last 3 months been like? Last 3 cycles.
I mean, typically just how I described it. Like
Okay.
I feel the ovulation. I can
Mhm.
feel that it's coming. Like I get
Mhm.
some sensation about it. I wouldn't describe it as pain,
Mhm.
maybe like discomfort, I can just feel it. Kind of, um, yeah, it's like a knocking, like I'm coming down, I'm
Yeah.
on my way,
Okay.
but that's kind of how it is right now.
Okay.
And
And
it's been
not
that way for the last 3 months, pretty much. Yeah.
That's great. And then no real PMS. I mean, other than some sensation, are you
No, I probably have some PMS. I get
okay?
cravings. I get intense. Actually, intense is not a good word. I get demanding cravings for sweets, for sweets.
Mm, okay. Do you give in?
80% I do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Matter of fact, let's have some chocolate right now while we're talking. What do you do for sweets when your body wants sweets?
It seems to be like either a chocolate, like chocolate chip cookies
Mm.
or something, something like sour sweet. Like
Mm.
lately it's been, have you seen those? God, these are awful, but those sweet tart ropes,
Oh
they're
yeah, yeah,
kind of like a
yeah.
Twizzler and they have this like filling in them.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's not normally something I eat,
Okay.
but when I'm having like that is something that is like, boop, boop, I need you,
Okay.
and I will have a few of those.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you're human. No judgment here.
You know, uh, I have to say it's one of the many things I love about you, Charlie, is
Oh,
you have an incredible bandwidth of acceptance.
oh, thank you.
Um, and I'll speak for myself. When I share things with you, I feel like I'm perfectly normal for me, right? Like
Right.
you're like, oh yeah, I get that, or yeah, that makes sense, or okay. I mean, I don't ever feel like you're gonna admonish me or judge me in the sense in a negative way, because I think judgment is part of your work. You have to judge, right, the situation for treatment or
Mm-hmm.
suggestion. So judgment
Right.
in a way that is favorable to my care.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so in terms of the sweet, so again, in Chinese medicine, the taste sweet is the spleen, and the spleen makes the blood. And you are sort of getting to this point where your spleen's potentially not making as much blood as it used to.
Wow, right.
Mm-hmm. So your spleen might be a little tired, which is
It's like
it's Ethel. Ethel is your spleen, girl.
Ethel, and who all but Esther and
Yep.
Alice,
Yep.
Claudia.
Yep. You got the
Those
Golden
old,
Girls in there.
the older names, yeah.
Okay, so that's your spleen. So your spleen holds the blood, the liver stores the blood. So the next question I have, when the blood does come, what is the blood like? Is it
Light.
red? Is
It's
it
it's
light? Is it dark?
it's light,
Okay.
light in terms of flow, and
Okay.
also it's red. It's not dark red. It's
Okay, it's just red, like regular.
maybe fire engine red. I don't know.
Good. So it's a light flow, fire engine red. And how many days do you bleed?
3 to 4.
Yeah, so not much. So you're not bleeding that much. Okay. So again, like there's stuff that's normal and natural, which is, you're perimenopausal, it's all happening. Can I ask how many years old you are?
Ask me what?
How many years old you are?
53.
33.
53.
Look at you.
83.
You're just a baby. You're just a baby. All right, so that's all. So that's good. So that's normal and natural. I mean, we look at these transitions. It's like, first of all, your body knows what to do and your body's doing it a little lighter. Then I would say what I want to make sure is that you're not blood deficient, right? Because a light period can be blood deficiency, not necessarily at the young age of 53, but at 25, I'd say, that's a little, what we would call blood deficient. Spleen's not making enough blood, liver's not storing enough blood. But in your case, I think it's probably fine. But just to make sure, then I would say, how do you have any foggy thinking? Are you forgetting things? Are you feeling tired? Those are other questions about blood deficiency.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like occasional
Sometimes.
or frequent?
I would say occasional.
Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it then. Occasional tired and, not thinking clearly and that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, if you said it was every day and it was all the time, I'd say problem, we need to treat it, but I don't think that's happening. And you are, you're omnivore, you eat meat, right? You're trying to stay off the gluten.
I am. I am definitely trying. My body doesn't my body doesn't love it.
Yeah,
I do have it, but it's definitely not optimal for me.
right. Okay. But then the reason I ask is people that are sensitive to gluten in naturopathic medicine, they find a really strong connection between iron stores and gluten sensitivity. So people that are gluten sensitive, if they're eating gluten, they usually have really low iron, aka anemia.
Mm.
Yeah. So then
I-
that's again blood thinking. So,
yeah,
again, the
I've heard.
encouragement would be to try to stay off of it. You know, Nothing occurs in a vacuum. So, um, and you are eating meat, so that's good. I like that. You're eating red meat, right?
That's my favorite.
Yeah. And you're a
Red
type
meat is good.
O? What's your blood type?
I think so.
I can't remember. I asked you to look and
Did
I think you were type O. That's why we were like, you
I
need the red meat for sure.
am, yeah.
Yeah. I try not to tell people what to eat, but the blood type diet seems to match, and women lose their blood. It's good to replenish the blood stores. Some people can do that other ways, but many people do well with red meat. So good job on you. Okay. All right. So all that's really good. And then what about body pain? Do you have any body pain?
No, nothing significant.
Not really. Okay. And then of everything else going on, like anything else, anything else up? Home, we're in these crazy times. Home, career, finance, like, is there anything else screaming at you that's coming up for you?
Just another identity shift. I mean, my
Okay.
son is a teenager now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been, and I still am, a devoted mom. I love being a mother.
Great.
I love being his mom and being involved in his life. And now it's more of like touchstone moments, right? Where he's like running in the house and
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm present for him. So it's like I'm thinking of it like a touchstone, like he's checking in. I'm here, it's a quick update, and then he's off to his next adventure. And so that's shifting my identity. I mean, I'm realizing that uh while he still needs his mom, the physical presence of me, of my responsibility to him is reducing.
Yeah.
And so how to shift that, and certainly like future planning, right? As much as I would love my son to get married and have children, that's not my, that's his journey if he chooses
Right.
to do that.
Okay.
So I think, okay, well, do I want to be where I'm living? Who do I want around me? So like,
Yeah.
future planning. And
Sure.
that's big identity stuff too. And like I said, just with the eyes, seeing my mom, when that
Mm.
happened to me, cellulitis. That's
Mm.
what they treated my mom for.
Okay.
He looked like that, cellulitis, which is some type of skin infection.
Mm.
Um, my mom has passed and we did not have a fabulous connected relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for other people, but I feel like my relationship with my mother and my father has also passed, continues to evolve even in their death. So when I like having this experience and like thinking back to when my mom looked like that, I talked to her. I was like, I felt for my mom in a different way
Mm-hmm.
because I could understand how she might have felt.
Nice.
But when I was younger or what have you, and I wasn't as connected to her, um, just not being present, I guess. So that kind of identity too. That's also mother, that's mother child, my mother. I'm the child, and then I'm the mother and my child. So there's a lot of that happening.
Right. That's great. Yeah, because the other thing I wanted to think about is that the eyes, no matter what, like of all, I mean, you put the stuff on your face, so it makes sense that that's where you reacted. However, the eyes specifically are like, what are you seeing? And an angry rash is like, are you angry with something you're seeing? So did you feel that that was going on?
Yeah, because I've been angry about my face.
Ooh.
I've been angry how my face is looking, which is why I started getting like a bunch of chemical
Oh,
creams. I mean,
okay.
I don't normally, I'm not normally in chemical products, and I'm
Right,
learning the difference between like chemical products and mineral products and natural products, right?
right.
Like coconut oil, I would consider a natural product,
Yes,
that's probably not gonna break me out in some friggin' rash.
right.
However, like using, like I was washing my face with honey, for example, I wasn't seeing, I guess, the kind of improvement in my face that sees the world that I would like to have seen. So I did start looking into some chemical products, right?
Mm.
And that also did not give me the results I was looking for.
See. Well, I mean, what it comes down to for me is actually I want to actually find out like what was going on before. But I mean, right now, it's something that I'm very passionate about is people getting the chemicals out of their life, and they're putting more chemicals in every single product, food, whatever, and they're newer chemicals, and we are getting more reactive. We're getting more sensitive. We're also getting toxified. So I don't, I wouldn't have recommended it. I'm glad you got a really strong lesson, but it's good. It's a good lesson to have because now you know that you will be much more careful, right?
I absolutely, and particularly like, I feel like it's one thing, like if I got a rash on my arm, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
right? That would be very different than getting a rash on my eyes, and my
Yeah.
eyes being swollen and having difficulty seeing. Um, so no, this was a valuable lesson. Long term, long term
Well,
results.
okay, so yeah, I know. This is great. I mean, it's I'm sorry, but it's great. It's fun
It
for you to,
is.
you're learning a lot about your health. It's fun for, me to be able to help you and work with you on this. And so what I want to say is there's a couple questions, first of all. First of all, if coconut oil's like exacerbating what was going on, which I think you're mentioning maybe some acne, then that again points to the damp heat because coconut oil is liquid. By the way, I'm all about coconut oil, but jojoba oil is a little gentler for the face.
Oh,
So you might actually just
yeah, I
use
saw
that.
you write that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
You
look into that.
Yeah, I would not personally, if you can, I'd almost recommend not buying any kind of face cream or anything like that and just try to use jojoba oil. But in the
Okay.
meantime, I think what we got to deal with actually, we're getting to the root of it because I didn't realize what was going on before, and you should tell me about this, is what was going on beforehand. It sounds like, again, I'm going to that liver damp heat. So what was going on with your angry with your face? What was happening? Because I didn't know that part of the story.
Aging, right? I
Tell me.
also, so like I stopped coloring my hair.
Okay.
Um, even for me to say my age kind of feels like,
Oh, honey.
it's like
Yeah.
it it feels like an admission of defeat. It is not that. Like I know in my soul,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an admission of defeat, but to some degree, I am, I'm letting go. Like when I say to my son, I used to be cool, I used to be fun, people used to want me around. Like literally, people would be like, make sure Heidi's coming, because
Yeah.
I was fun. And now it's the identity thing, right?
Hmm.
I to all that, to
Oh,
her, to
yeah.
her, to who I was.
Yeah.
Um, and I know some people talk about how like those parts still exist in me, and
Hmm.
they do, but I really need to, like Gary Vee says, stop looking back, it fucks with your neck. Um, and I like that idea, like just let it be.
Yeah.
And doing more future planning, really thinking,
Right.
mapping things out for my future and get excited about that and get excited about being older.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so that's actually really cool. Okay, so you're moving more into a metal phase, right? You haven't, it's so funny with the five element wheel, right?
Really?
Because oh yeah, because basically like Earth is all about like it's about this life, it's about right here, it's about nourishment, family, children, what are you doing in the world? And what I hear you saying is, I ask you, you're like angry about my face, eight, and it comes down to aging. So it's not, you're not focused necessarily on your career at the moment. I know it comes up like a transition, but you're talking about transitions, which are earth, okay, which is dampness, by the way. And
Uh,
you're talking about metal. You're having a hard time moving into metal. Now you're not, metal is I'd say older adults. You're not there yet, but you're trying to move toward that phase of, less about your own self and your family. Actually, I think it comes back to your own self, but you're moving from earth to metal, basically, is what you at this moment. It's not, they're not static, like they're always changing. Let me see if I can find a
so what? So is that some of what I'm confronting at the moment? Like
yeah,
this
yeah,
transitional.
you are.
When will I get to metal? Will I know? And what does metal mean anyway?
First of all, let me see if I can find I have a thing that I can share if I find it.
This
Here's
is
a
a
really
very long consultation. I don't know who's going to watch all of this.
well, don't worry about it. We're not doing it for the public, we're doing it for you. Let me see. I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to see if I can share that part of the screen. I can. Good. All right. So let's talk about it.
Ah,
So this is the five element wheel. This is like the really simple version. Um, wood fire. So what I'm going to do is I'll just talk through it. But basically, what you're talking about is Earth. You've had a lot of experience in Earth. Earth is being a mother. Earth is being part of the family. Earth is nurturing yourself. Earth is nurturing others. Earth is harvesting, everything that you take in things. And actually, I'm pretty sure that, Earth is a big part of how we treated you, just balancing the Earth. But yeah, and Earth is even transitional, but you're looking at more metal, like the letting go is metal, the like not being a caregiver and like moving into like I'm getting older, that's metal. Metal is value. So metal is like the inner essence of everything.
did you
Okay.
say it's value?
Value. Yeah. Yeah. It's the essence, it's the value, it's what's at the core, yeah. So you're kind of like peeling off some of those layers and coming into like, what is the essence of Heidi? Right. And then how do I move into the next steps of my life as you get older? Because when you're young, it's like, it's all like fun and it's like everything
Oh
you're
yeah.
saying is fire, 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 fun and,
Yes.
relationships and other people and sex and all the things. And then Earth is more like, the family and you come home and you go in and da da da. And what do you harvest from all of that excitement and everything? And then metal is, what does all of that create? So you're the one thing you created your guy, your son, and even the relationship with your ex-partner and all that. You had a career or two, it's like, and then metal is like, what is the essence that you've built inside of all of that and sort of letting go of that outside stuff. Like if you think about the fall, in the fall, the trees let go of everything, like everything changes. Trees let go and it looks a little stark and the wind gets crisp and it gets kind of cold. But what's happening, of course, is all that fluffy stuff goes away. And then what's the essence?
Oh.
You're coming into your essence.
Oh.
which is rad.
I like it.
Yeah. And like anything else, you've had a little bit of a difficulty with the transition. Water is really older age. Water is winter, and it's the bones, right? When people get older, what happens? Sometimes their teeth kind of have issues, their bones have issues, they lose their hair. That's all water, which is winter. They get colder, older adults get colder, that's the kidneys. So that's, you're nowhere near that. But metal is the lung and large intestine. So it's interesting that you got this thing here, which is large intestine lung, which is metal. And skin, by the way, is also lung, which is metal. So it's just interesting, you know?
And then is wood death?
No,
Like,
what is growth? Water's death.
okay. So
Water's
that's
death.
the final act.
Yep. Water's death, the final act. It's old age, it's rest. And then wood is the cycle of spring. So March, February, March, April, when things pop and bloom and, that unfettered growth. So wood is really teenageism. It's birth to being a teenager. And it's that like,
Yeah.
I've got tons of energy. I need to
Yeah.
go. And the energy goes up. It's like a tree. It goes up,
Oh God, I'm
Yeah.
watching real time.
So you're in it. Yeah, you're like wood. Like every spring, everything goes pop, and you got it right in front of your face.
Yeah. Watching
Fire,
the sun
fire is maturity, adult, maturity. That's when we go out in the world and we become who we are. We seek out relationships. We create our passions,
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really fascinating. Yeah, so you're kind of moving into a bit of a metal phase. So let's come up with a little plan for you. I mean, I think it's kind of varied, but let's decide what we want to do. I mean, on the one hand, I think you're actually doing great. I do want to talk about the one thing that I'm seeing is you're still experiencing some damp heat, and that's bothersome. Anytime I'm working with someone who's working with other practitioners, I don't want to step on their toes. So I like what your homeopath is doing. And then I wish I knew how to get rid of that. No.
Well, let
Oh,
me ask you, do you want to complete this today, or do we want to do a follow-up? Like after you give me some suggestions, see how that, like, what are your thoughts?
you're so cute.
Because we've been on for a bit,
Yeah,
and I know this is not, we didn't do this for the public, but
right.
you have some vision for the work that you're doing. And
Well, I just wanted to share, be able to share how we work in Chinese medicine. So yeah, I think I like your ideas. I think that we probably should do follow-up, but in the meantime, let's just spend 5 minutes because I want to just kind of identify what we found in Chinese medicine. Okay.
okay,
So the organ systems I'm looking at are your liver and your spleen. And now we're going to look at, I'm going to say metal, but that's lung and large intestine. However, when I look at the function of those, you're having 0 lung problems, right?
currently none.
No, what? Do you have asthma, any kind of lung breathing? No.
uh no,
You did have a cough. I'm going to put
I
that.
did.
You did, but
And
current,
that does occasionally like boop, pop up again, but
yeah.
right now, no.
Okay, so currently it's not there. And then you said you're, just to get a little more specific, bowel movements, normal, they occur on time, you don't have to do anything for them. Are they ever loose or color? Not usually.
Uh, you know what? I think after I did the charcoal, it was loose.
Mm,
It was either after starting the remedy or after charcoal, I had a bit of a loose one.
okay,
But
but
mostly it's just normal. Like
yeah.
I don't have issues with that.
Okay. So again, your metal looks really good to me then. You're very present yourself, you know who you
And
are.
that's where I'm moving, right?
Yep. Yep. And so then we look at again this thing that you're taking the thuya for, the wart, which again, even though it's showing up here, which I, by the way, have one that I've been working on over here. It's kind of really fading at this point. But so I do want to look at, so what I would look at for you is I would look at the large intestine. So I think that overall, You're doing quite well. I'm going to put this in the liver category because the liver is expressions on the skin. Um, but we're going to keep an eye on metal. And then in terms of your spleen, you digest no problem.
Well, I wouldn't say no problem.
Tell me more.
Sometimes I take digestive enzymes.
Because it'll be hard to digest.
Uh, like if I have let's say a larger meal, I
Yeah,
might take a digestive enzyme just to help in breaking things down, just like in my head to do that. I don't know.
because you'll
I
get
don't,
fullness or bloated or what?
yeah, maybe like I feel a bit bloated from the meal because the meal has included bread.
Yeah, from bread, yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you on that. Um, do you alternate between hot and cold ever?
Like body temperature wise,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Okay.
It's rare. I mean, like when I come in from outside and I'm in the air conditioning, yes, but
Right.
I'm that's not me doing it. It's external factors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the heat outside, the air conditioning inside.
All right. So mostly I'm seriously mostly looking at liver damp heat right now for you. Probably a little liver chi stagnation. You've been angry, right?
Oh, in the heat especially.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, basic, I'm going to go over, I'm going to look up the herbal formula because we had talked about Shao Chai Tong before you go today, actually, and I can do this on here. I don't mind. I just want to look at some things for actually a little bit more liver damp heat, which that formula doesn't include a lot for that. Um, and then the other thing we talked about a castor oil pack. Did you do that?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I took that advice too.
Okay. How
Yes.
many, when?
I've done it the past 3 nights.
Oh, 3 nights in a row. Okay. That's a lot. And how did that go?
I love it actually.
Tell me what you love.
I find it nourishing.
Yeah, it is nourishing.
It's
Did
like, it's like a hug.
it is like a hug. You're so
It's
cute.
like I'm taking care of my liver because I know she's a bit like,
Yeah, great.
right? I'm like, honey, I know, I'm
Okay,
here. Okay.
cool. Good. Good. All right, so I think you're doing most of the stuff you need. I think we could just add a little herbal formula for damp heat. The other thing you could
Yes.
do, so if you didn't have access to herbs, like, because actually here in the desert of San Luis Obispo, we don't have any herbal pharmacies. I've had some friends give me herbs, but I would, if that was the case here, I would send you to Sprouts and I'd say, I want you to get a liver detox formula, like a really good herbal one. They make them, or I'd send you to the co-op, your local co-op. And then I would say, I'd like you to get a lymph formula. So red root is something that comes to mind, and you could get a formula to move the lymph. Or you're kind of doing some of that, and the castor oil pack will do some of that as well. So for you, I think you're doing all the stuff you want to do. We might just add Chinese herbal formula for you.
I
But
would
yeah,
love that.
yeah, so we want to get your lymph moving a little better, and I think drain some heat out of your damp heat out of your liver.
Yes, please.
The other thing I will say, which we already talked about, is squeezing a little lemon in water twice a day. You're doing
I'm not
that?
a huge fan of
Oh,
lemon right
that's
now.
right. You don't like lemon.
So that's why I'm doing more of the mint tea.
Great.
Like two
Mint
to
tea is
three
fine.
cups of mint tea a day.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay.
So
So
you're gonna update the suggested Chinese herbs, right?
I am. I'm gonna look at it
Okay.
right now. Actually, do you want to just do it together?
Uh,
Do you need a break?
I think yeah,
Okay, then we won't do
I
it
need a
together.
break. And
Take a break.
I
Take
trust
a
your
break. So
do you
what
want
we're
to
gonna do is we're gonna take the liver harmonizing formula Xiaoyang called Xiao Chai Tong. We're gonna look to possibly add some herbs for liver damp heat. I'm more of a balancing kind of herbalist. I do not believe in like super overdoing it. I believe in lifestyle. You're doing all the lifestyle. We're just gonna give you just a little bit of help for your liver. And yeah, and as long as I want to see like you and I'll check in. I'd like to maybe we could do 2 to 3 weeks and do a
Yes.
a follow-up, and we could do it online as well, because what I
Yes,
would look at is I want that cough to stay gone. I want your
yes.
rash to go, and I want you to feel a little less of that like anger and fullness and a little more acceptance and, that sort of thing. Joy,
Okay,
perhaps a little more
okay.
joy. Yeah.
I
So
like
I
that
want to see
plan.
happen. Cool. All right, Heidi. I'll shoot you over a text with your formula, and
Thank you, Doc.
yeah, I'll talk to
Dr.
you.
Charlie.
Yeah. Happy to help. Fun to do the case. And we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
Okay. See you.
See you.